Hello, my fellow students. If you've been looking for tips and tricks on how to save money as a student, cut costs, stay healthy, and finding a good study technique, then join me as I share my top 10 lists on how to get through the student life. Some of the cheapest foods in the world are plants, so if you wish to save money, you can substitute some of the meat products. Buy a package of dry beans, chickpeas, or lentils and boil everything in the package at once. Next, portion them up and freeze them into containers or some airtight plastic bags. You can then switch out the meat in, for instance, tacos, burgers, pâtés, loaves, pizzas, lasagnas, and more. Also, remember to buy in bulks when you can and try and make as much of your food yourself. I always say, you can pay for your meal either with money or time. When you choose to prep your meals yourself, you'll save a lot of money. Getting a part-time job does not only give you extra cash, but can also give you other benefits. For example, if you work at a bakery, you may be able to bring home with you some leftover bread. Or if you're working at a clothing store, you'll probably get a discount when buying your clothes from there. Choosing your part-time job a little bit strategic can give you more money to spend on other things once the paycheck comes. Figure out what you spend your time and money on and work from there. I personally have 2 cats and would love a part-time job at an animal store. That way I could get cheap cat food and litter box sand. One thing I often do is to make a lot of food at once when I make dinner. That way there is always leftovers, which I can then use for lunch at school the day after. I also make sure to prepare the food before I go to bed. Then I can just grab and go once the morning comes. Another easy thing you can do is bringing food and beverages with you that only needs warm water added. Like for example, noodles, dry coffee, oatmeal, etc. If your school doesn't have either a microwave or hot water, you can bring some with you in a thermos. If you can't afford a membership at your local training studio, go for a hike, a swim, or a run to get that heart pumping. If you have a bicycle, use that to get around. Also, do little things every day like taking the stairs instead of the elevator and walking to your school instead of taking the bus. If it's too far away to walk, you can get off the bus a stop or two earlier. If you live in a rainy place like I do, there are tons of YouTube channels offering free workout videos. View cleaning the house and doing the dishes as opportunities to move your body. And lastly, if you have kids, climb trees and play games with them. Be creative and have fun. If someone buys a new bed, they will have to get rid of the old one. This can be a hassle for the new bed owner, so what many people do is announce things they want to get rid of on a local website. If you're out of stuff for your apartment, you might consider hitting up Craigslist or other websites in your country that gives away free stuff. In Norway, we have finn.no for this, and I've personally gotten a lot of cool stuff from there for free. Everyone learns differently, but one thing that seems to be working for a lot of people, including me, is to read up on the topic you're going to go through in class. When you're prepared, it's easier to keep focused on what the teacher is talking about. Have a plan for what to do the whole week. That way, preparing for your classes will be easier. Also, do a small recap of what you went through last time before your next lecture. If there is something you don't understand during the lecture, write it down. Then after the class is done, check what it meant. That way you don't clutter up your thoughts with all the things you're supposed to remember, and you can just focus on learning. If you have the time, write a summary of what you learned in your own words after the class. Many people tend to forget what they learned post-lecture. When writing down your thoughts after the class, then going through it before the next one, it might be easier to get the information to stick. There are so many different ways to learn stuff, and figuring out which one works best for you can be a challenge. I've noticed that a lot of people take notes during lecture, but that doesn't always work for me. If I have math, I usually take notes, but if I have English class, I usually don't. I've noticed that for me, drawing what we're talking about and listening to the teacher seems to be working. Some people are very visual, so if you need to watch a video of what you're learning, you can hit up the YouTube channel Crash Course or visit Khan Academy's website. They have so many different topics to choose from, so just follow your heart's desire. It can be tempting to go to school during the Saturdays and Sundays if you have a lot of work to do. But if you do your homework every single day, you might get burned out. Try and take some days off where you can focus on different things than just school. That way, when you come back on Monday, you're revitalized and ready to start the week.